alive? Is it the courage to create, the power to connect, the vision to transform? Well, it's all of this and more. It's a symphony of ideas, innovation, and industry. But where do these stories come alive? It's right here on The Isle, 104.9 FM, the station where dreams meet action and growth finds its voice. The Isle, 104.9. Business, economy, development. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us. It's Just Africa. We're talking about Africa products and Africa brands that have made it into the market. And now we have joining us Blessing Awa. She's the co-founder. She's the co-founder of Asian Natural Cosmetics. Okay, she will join us in a moment. Now, we were talking about some of the Nigerian brands and some brands within Africa that has really made it to the fore and has attracted. And the Akin biscuits that we talked about is just one of them.
Yes, just one.
We have products and brands, probably detergents.
Right.
We have products.
Omo, yes.
Oh, Omo. I remember vividly that after we met, why did they go into extinction is some of those questions we will be asking. And when we have Blessing Awa joins us in the program, we will be asking that question. Why did they go into extinction? These products. And for the fact that when these products were in circulation, they were just not there. They were competitive.
Yes.
Talking about job employment, they played their roles effectively.
Yes.
Other countries, most especially African countries contiguous around Africa, contiguous around Nigeria, were receiving some of these products.
Yes.
So the question now comes, why is it that maybe production got to another level? Well, we have Blessing Awa joins us back again via Zoom. She is the co-founder and chief executive officer of Asian Natural Cosmetics. Good morning to you and welcome to Just Africa.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Thank you so much, Blessing Awa. Many thanks for joining us. Now, talk to us about, just tell us about your story, how you started your personal products and what gave you the strength, the fortitude. You had access to capital? Or was everything in order before you start? We want to know how you start and how your product has become something competitive that Nigerians can relate with.
Thank you so much for your question. ASEAN started approximately 6 years ago, but prior to that, I've been an entrepreneur, majorly in the retail side of the business. But I realized that at a point, we had that vacuum, which was made in Nigeria product that people could actually use on their children. Now we had people producing products for cosmetics for adults, but there was no skincare brand prioritizing the children, right? So oftentimes when you go for antenatal, especially the women when they are pregnant, other mothers, especially those who have experienced more than you, would be giving you advice on product to buy. Some would say Pierce, some would say Johnson's. So fortunately, motherhood came to me. I experienced it. My first child, perfect. We used the regular market products, imported products. He had no issues. Then came my second child, which was my daughter. And because she was lactose intolerant, that means she had breakouts. So whenever she takes a product that contains lactase, there's going to be breakouts. And then we were looking for a product that could control that. Um, Fortunately, Fortunately, I found a foreign product that could do that. But later on, we realized that the product was out of the market because I think it was coming from Germany and then it was no longer in the market. Sometimes when you see it, it might be the fake version of it. And in my quest looking for solution like a replacement, I tried researching the ingredients that were in those foreign products. Then I realized that even though most of the ingredients they use were mainly foreign, we still add the local version of these same products, right? So we went on a backbreaking research and we were able to get something. We couldn't do it in the lotion form that theirs came in. We did it in the butter form. In short, I did it in the butter form, to manage the situation because then I really did not have a scientific training at the time. So we did it. It was perfect, and my daughter's skin started healing. And years later, I noticed people give her compliments on her skin, and friends, family will say, "Can you do for my child?" And that was the beginning. We started doing locally. Then I went back, trained on it, researched on it, and over time, we've been able to create a shelf steady product that contains 90% of locally sourced raw materials. Now, where this comes to play is the fact that because most of the raw materials are locally sourced, the price point is lower than imported ones. And then over the years, there's been an outsurge of Nigerians who want products that are what's it called, that are free from additives that could harm the kids as they grow up and even adults. And yeah, even though our product is not specifically for children alone, it is more for the family. Like it's a family product that takes care of the skin, treats skin impediments, and overall just make your child grows up knowing that what they are putting on their skin will not give them adverse effects as they grow up. And to God be the glory, the reception has been beautiful, really. For a brand that started less than 6 years ago, we've been able to, yes, stand our ground, and we've been able to get awards from lots of ministries, in Nigeria, especially the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, because we realize that people are actually,
Hello, Blessing Hour. Just a moment. Can you hear me? Thank
yeah,
you so
yeah.
much for that brief introduction and how your product came about. But before we start talking about how you have been able to, distribute your product to make it very much acceptable to Nigerians, I want to know some of the few challenges you encountered while you started. However, I'm even more concerned. How did you get your product certified and registered so that it comes to the Standard Organization of Nigeria and the NAFDAC will have to come in there. So tell us about your encounters with these institutions and how you were able to cross that bottleneck.
Thank you very much. So the first challenge we had was funding. Yeah, so because we're a self-funded business at the time, um, it wasn't really because NAVDAC, even though they on their portal they will tell you it's very easy walk in there and do everything, we realize that when you do it yourself, at a point you will need what do they call them now? People who would help you. They are called consultants, right? So we needed consultants who would help us, and assessing consultants doesn't come cheap. And because we were a self-funded business, it wasn't easy, but we were able to manage it. We started with three or four products at a time. Yeah, when we started, but we were able to get our NAVDAC certification, and over the years, we've been able to grow our production line.
All right, thank you very much. Also, I would like to also know this. People have always had this thirst for imported products and they feel it's of more quality and all that. So, how are you able to convince even the wholesalers that this thing actually works, this lotion actually works? How are you able to convince them? How are you able to flood the market with your product and convince them that this actually works?
Thank you so much. So, like you rightly said, the Nigerian mentality of foreign products are better than locally made products was a stumbling block when we started. Most times we had to even pretend that the product wasn't even made in Nigeria. Yes, in order to get access to the customer. Then the thing is, once they taste it, once they try the product, they are hooked. Then they can no longer compare our products with the foreign products. Yeah. So what really helped me was the fact that I was using the product, my family was using the product. So oftentimes we were like our brand ambassador. Yeah. So when they look at the children, they look at my kids, they're like, oh, you see, people come and say, oh, I want products that makes my child's skin looks like your kid's skin. Yeah. You know the comparison. And yeah, that really helps. And the fact that I myself, I use the product. So when they see your complexion and they see your skin, it's looking healthy. You're not looking all whitish, those 20 shade lighter. No, your skin is looking very healthy. That also helps in the marketing aspect of it. And till date, we just realized that there was a crave for natural, organic, in the sense, products in the market. And when we went in there, it wasn't easy at first, like I mentioned, but the acceptance was impressive. Like looking back now, you will say for a product that did not have so much funding to push our products in people's faces to actually be in the market, yes, Nigeria has come a long way and we've come a long way in the acceptance.
Thank you very much. So let's go a bit in depth. Uh, if you can, if you're willing, there's a certain amount you had or capital which you had to source for. And so my question is, from the time, from the inception of this particular business, how long did it take you to recuperate your capital, apart from the profit? How long, how many years before you started making profit?
Okay, I would say, looking back now, the first 3 years there was no profit. We would say it was profit because it was majorly we produce, sell, push it back into the business. So you're not even saying this is the capital and this is the profit. We're basically pushing it back into the business so that it can grow. And don't forget, banks are not willing to give small businesses loans, especially if they feel that we've not gotten to that peak. So it was majorly, you know, reinvesting back into the business. And I would say it took us like 3 years before we could say, okay, this was the capital at the time of production, this is and be able to re-strategize. But on the figure that I started with, the first production I ever did was less than 100,000 naira. Yes, because like I mentioned, we started with body butters, oils, and African black soap. So it was really not made for sale per se. It was made for my family and friends, when we started out. Well, yes, it took us 3 years to start, seeing profits in our business.
Thank you very much. Now, so some of the, let's look at the business from the brands that you have created and how acceptable this has been. You talked about the acceptability of your products among neighbors. So, talk to us more about the acceptability of your product outside and far and wide. Have you been able to have it in good supermarkets, in shops where they order for your products? And just tell us about your reach in supplying your product.
Okay. Right now we have our products in over 30 supermarkets across the nations, and we are in gender supermarkets across all gender supermarkets, and we have distributors. So we are doing the distribution model because we can be in everybody's faces, yeah, and because we do not have the funding for massive marketing, what we did was distributorship. So we have distributors across the 36 states of Nigeria. Yeah, and even within Lagos, every local government has a distributor of our products. So if you cannot buy directly from us, which we are not even requesting retailers buy directly from us, no, they buy from our distributors. That way, they reduce cost of shipping. Yeah. So their distributor could just be like two, three houses away from them, and they are not paying money for delivery. So by God's grace, we've been able to be in the faces of people who love what we do. Yeah, who are looking for natural, healthy skincare products.
Now, talk to us again about, when you started, it was a personal thing, and now you have grown and you are still growing. Talk to us about your staff strength.
Oh, thank you. So right now we have 10 permanent staff, then the ad hoc staff over 20. Then we have our IT students and our corpers. So overly, we're looking at, as at last month when we're doling out the salary, yeah, we're looking at approximately 20-ish, yeah, staff at the moment.
Thank you. That's quite a success you've achieved for your organization. And so, when we talk about challenges that you faced earlier for budding businesses that are starting like yours in Africa that has the potential to employ lots of people to come work for you, not only to provide employment, but also to ship the product outside Nigeria to places like Ghana, to places like Benin Republic, and equally to service all the 36 states in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What kind of support would an entrepreneur or a budding business person like you will expect from the government, either from the federal government or from state government?
It boils down to funds, yes, funds and the bottlenecks. For instance, um, if you're going for loans from banks, the interest rates these days is alarming, up to 48% per annum. Yeah, so we're looking at banks. If we can get the federal government to make it easy on us, if we can get single digit units, single digit loans would have a way in pushing, like, imagine collecting 20 million naira and you're paying 48% on it. It's not going to be easy, with the staffing, raw materials, and the rest. So if the federal government could help manufacturers like us and bundle businesses, help us, give us a landing grant of single digit loan, that would help, not just saying it in the system, but making it easy to access. They could say, yeah, you could go to this bank, you get the loan, but how easy is this process to access this single digit loan? So if they can actually make it that commercial banks and even bigger banks could help us, I mean federal banks could help us reduce the interest rate to a single digit. We're looking at between 5 to 9%. As long as it is a single digit, that will go a long way. And also the bottlenecks of recently we had an issue of SON, which is the Standard Organization of Nigeria, and NAFDAC for a cosmetic product. They expect you, cosmetic and food, yeah, in manufacturing. If you're putting your products in supermarkets, now they are telling you that after getting NAFDAC, you have to get SON. This shouldn't have been the case because prior to now, when you get NAFDAC, you're good to go. But now they've made it a compulsory thing that when you get NAFDAC, you have to get SON. And both processes are almost the same, and you're going to be paying for
We have a network challenge there. We hopefully will, overcome that.
I wanted to
she-
even ask her how she feels with the new policy, the Nigeria First
policy.
It must be something like Christmas for her. It must
Well,
be good news for her.
Well, if such policy, if it materializes, and because if we're talking about lotions and wash and all of that, these are things that, okay, you're back. Miss Blessing, you're back. You can continue with your line of perspective. You're talking about the procedure for getting NAFDAC certification and the SON certification, more like a duplicated process. Please go on. You hear me?
so like a BMOs like scale. Yeah, can you hear me? I can hear you. Hello.
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we have BMOs like National Association for Small Scale Industrialists, NASI, who are actually helping us fight our cause. We feel we need them to be a voice in order for the bottlenecks to be reduced for manufacturers, especially MSMEs in Nigeria. So we feel that the government should, reduce the pressure they are putting on small businesses so that we know that if you're getting NAFDAC, NAFDAC is enough. And if your product does not require NAFDAC, then you can focus on getting SON. Not that you're getting NAFDAC and they are forcing you to get SON. These are also some of the bottleneck for bonding entrepreneurs, the challenges they're going to be facing. Getting these two certification that does almost the same thing, trying to certify you to be of standard, making sure your GMP is of international standard. So that's another aspect.
Very much. So I wanted to ask, there's a new policy which would be approved by the Federal Executive Council. It's called Nigeria First, which means in all government parastatals, Nigerian locally made products would be patronized. What's your thought on this? Do you think this would encourage entrepreneurs and the likes?
Yes, yes. I had goosebumps when I saw that news heading. Yeah. So I had goosebumps when I saw that policy. I was like, yes, finally, the government has remembered us. I love the fact that the president approved that first Nigeria First policy to help boost our local industry. The fact that all made in Nigeria products must be prioritized gives us hope that our efforts is not going to be in vain. No, yeah. So imagine they ask you to bring products for people who are into food processing, and they're asking you to give quotation for your products, and they are telling you no, they prefer foreign rice to local rice. How heartbreaking that must be for those manufacturers. But now with the government, with the president approving the Nigeria First policy, this will not only boost our local industry, it will also make the Nigeria products be a priority in all supermarkets, in all market shelves. So that mentality of, oh, it has to be foreign products, it has to be made abroad for it to be seen as perfect. I'm sure that we're going to start dropping those mentality and start embracing made in Nigeria products. And of course, we, the manufacturers, are going to be smiling home and saying that our efforts hasn't been in vain.
Okay. Thank you so much, Blessing Awa. Blessing Awa is the co-founder and chief executive officer of Asian Natural Cosmetics. Many thanks for joining us this morning in Just Africa. And I would like to say, I think you should give it a thought and consider supplying your products to Benin Republic, to Ghana, close by here, so that you can have a good and wide reach even outside the shores of Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. That's something we're actually doing, but we're concentrating more of Nigeria in Nigeria because we want to sensitize Nigerians to embrace our own products. Yeah, so we have some of our distributors in other African countries, but we want to focus more in Nigeria because the market in Nigeria is huge.
Thank you so much for your time, Blessing.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
So she was talking about the bottlenecks that they encountered between NAFDAC and SON. These are two institutions.
Yes.
Standard Organization of Nigeria, NAFDAC, National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control. I think there's a way we should unify these processes so as to remove these bottlenecks and make it easy. Because the other day we spoke with some business persons. I'm trying to remember the designation of the official we spoke with, and he said, these processes have been made simple, that you could even sit back on at your house and in front of your laptop and go through the process. But she's telling you that if you go through that process sitting down at home to do it, you could encounter some bottlenecks that will still require you to be, in person in NAFDAC office. And these are some of the bottlenecks that needs to be removed. Maybe sometimes others who apply for the process too are not that, computer tech savvy. But I don't think you need to be tech savvy for you to fill forms online and to submit such.
I think we need to even get, if we can get a representative from NAFDAC or SON to know the actual amount to be paid, because I've heard, I'll call them allegations, and the amount is quite huge.
It's quite huge. Like how much, according to the allegations?
I've heard over 500,000.
Okay.
It's time to be corrected. It's an allegation. I've heard 500,000 or more just to get that NAFDAC number, to get your product approved. And while these two organizations are there, I think, yes, it's good to get your product approved, but there should also be an inspection or some sort of watchdog, because while your product has been approved, we need to also monitor the standard, because in Nigeria, we are known for doing something, and when it blows up, when it's huge,
lower the standard.
Lower the standard.
Okay. What if it was counterfeiting by others who who jump and venture into the market without personal innovation, and they just want to copy other people's innovation?
True. I've seen, take for instance, I've seen different types of biscuits. Probably it was 4 in it, and they reduced it to 3, 2, still sold for the same price, and you're wondering.
I think this is what the FCCPC,
that's where the standard
FCCPC look into it.
Should look into.
By the time they jump into the market, you have like 5 pieces of biscuits in the package.
There's a particular peanut snack. It used to be much, but now it's reduced.
Peanuts.
Yes, peanuts.
It kept reducing in size, and the price kept going up.
It's quite funny.
We'll be back in your face. We're going to break in a moment. It's Just Africa on Souq News Television.
Africa is on the rise, and at the forefront of its growth is a sector as old as civilization itself: agriculture. Once marked by subsistence farming and challenges with food security, agriculture in Africa is now experiencing a powerful transformation. From the fertile lands of Nigeria to the tea fields of Kenya, agriculture is driving economic growth and lifting millions out of poverty. African governments and internal investors are taking notice, pouring in resources to support smallholder farmers and expand sustainable farming practices. Digital innovation is playing a major role in this transformation. Mobile apps provide farmers with crucial information on weather, market prices, and crop management. These digital tools are empowering farmers to make informed decisions, increase their yield, and get fair prices for their produce. Now I know when it rains, I can plan my planting better, and I know where to sell my crops for a good price. It's really changing our lives. We are committed to investing in agriculture as a pillar of our economy. Our goal is to make farming not only viable, but a source of wealth and stability for our people. African countries are also scaling up for exports, especially in high-demand crops like coffee, cocoa, and cashew. By focusing on quality, Africa is capturing a larger share of global markets. But the transformation goes beyond exports. Across Africa, new farming techniques and policies are helping to meet domestic demand and reduce reliance on food imports, contributing to food security across the continent. Women are also a key part of Africa's agricultural revolution. They make up a significant portion of the agricultural workforce and initiatives are empowering women farmers with resources and training to enhance productivity. From subsistence to sustainability, the future of agriculture in Africa is bright. With innovation, investment, and resilient communities, Africa is sowing the seeds of prosperity.
Anthony Onyemaechi Elumelu was born on the 22nd of March 1963 in Jos, North Central Nigeria, to Susanna Dominic Elumelu, originally from Delta State. Tony earned a degree in economics from Ambrose Ali University, where he laid the foundation for his future career, and then furthered his education at the University of Lagos, where he obtained a master's degree in economics. His academic journey also includes attending the Harvard Business School, where he completed the Owner of President Management program, equipping him with advanced business management skills. Tony currently serves as the chairman of Ayers Holdings, Transcorp, and United Bank for Africa, UBA, demonstrating his significant influence in the banking and investment sector. He founded the Tony Elumelu Foundation, which aims to empower African entrepreneurs through comprehensive training, mentorships, and funding opportunities. In addition to his professional achievements, he's also a family man, married to Dr. Adele Vivian Elumelu, and together they have 7 children. In 2020, his efforts were acknowledged when he was named one of Time's 100 most influential people in the world. Anthony Elumelu's net worth is estimated to be around $700 million, a testament to his successful ventures and strategic investments. Elumelu continues to be a driving force in the business world, advocating for sustainable economic growth and empowering the next generation of African entrepreneurs.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us. It's Souq News Television, and this is Just Africa, where we talk about brands and products that are made in Africa, producing in manufacturing, in cosmetics, in food, and many other things, as long as it buoy the local economy in Kenya, in Ghana, in Nigeria, in Benin Republic, in Niger, in Sudan, as long as it is in the continent. So, charcoal. Growing up, we knew something about charcoal. And from my experience, even though we were told that it's in itself, it has industrial use, I only saw the use at the roadside when you see the women, the roasting corn, potato, yam, suya. Then you see that's where they use charcoal. But moving away from them, there was a time kerosene. I think that was even when the gas was less, available for cooking purposes in Nigeria. People resorted to charcoal. People resorted to firewood. And at that time, as we speak, even though it was like 1-2 decades back, the business kept booming. And I was surprised why it worked that way. And currently, as we speak, I was thinking it would have gone into extinction, but it hasn't.
Yeah, it hasn't. There's a new innovation. There's a stove. Now, I've seen the stove, whereby it works with charcoal, and basically it's a replacement of kerosene. So instead of putting kerosene inside the stove, you put charcoal there. It's efficient, it's cost effective, And I think people are using it. People are really using it.
Well, is that an innovation? Well, we have a clip for you to watch, and it's about charcoal, but more from the business angle. We'll take a look at charcoal after Cashcraft. Do stay with us.
When conversations around figures, I mean money, flies around, serious-minded and business-conscious people will at every point open their eyes because business ideas and opportunities can come up even at a bar. But for us, we are bringing you business ideas to your doorstep. And today I am saying welcome to Cashcraft, where we share with you tips on making money. We dig into the ordinary things around us, things we pass by daily, never knowing they could be our next income stream. My name is Grace Komolafe, and today we are stepping into the world of charcoal, not the one you fan under your suya or barbecue, but the one that's quietly building millionaires, fueling export earnings, and heated up markets from Lagos to places like Nairobi. In the smoky corners of rural villages, behind the crackles of burning logs, lies a black treasure, charcoal. It may not glitter, but don't be fooled. Charcoal is hot business, literally and financially. Now, before you turn up your eyes thinking it's dirty work for tired farmers, I want you to pay a close attention because this is business, not bush talk. Charcoal is made by carbonizing wood, burning it slowly in a low oxygen environment to remove moisture and volatile compounds, leaving behind a high carbon energy packed fuel. It's used in households, restaurants, bakeries, foundries, and exported in tons out of Africa to Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. Straight to the numbers, according to data from the International Trade Center, Nigeria exports over 400,000 tons of charcoal annually. That's millions of dollars flowing into an industry that's up until now barely makes the headlines. Charcoal ranks among Nigeria's top 10 non-oil export commodities, and guess what? The market is growing, especially with the rise in demand for natural and organic heating fuel abroad. But how can you, yes you, tap into this business? So here are tips from top to bottom. Step 1, know your entry point. The charcoal business is wild. You can be a producer cutting and burning the wood, a distributor buying from villages and selling to cities, or a transporter, a retailer, or even go big as an exporter. If you want to go into production, you will need access to hardwood species like acacia, mahogany, or shea. This burn longer and cleaner. And please, don't just cut trees anyhow. Get your wood legally and where possible. Support replanting. Illegal logging is the fastest way to lose your business before it. All right, let's go to step 2. Carbonize like a pro. Charcoal is made in kilns. While many still use traditional earth kilns, modern alternatives like the Casamance kilns or Adaman retort kilns produce better yields, reduce smoke, and are friendlier to the environment. A small investment in an improved kilns can double your output and your profit. Now, step 3, bag it right. Local sales, use 25 kg or 50 kg sacks. For export, your charcoal must be dry, dust-free, and neatly packaged. Now, exporters deal in 20-foot or 40-foot containers, each holding up to 25 tons. So let's go to step 4. Know your market. If you're selling locally, look for suya sellers, grill restaurants, and food vendors. In urban centers like Lagos, Abuja, or Port Harcourt, and mainly Nigeria, charcoal sells fast, especially during festive seasons. Now, exporters, on the other hand, deal with buyers in Germany, UK, Belgium, Israel, UAE, and more. You will need a registered business and export license from NEPC and reliable logistics partners. That's very important, isn't it? So let's move to 5. Learn network. Grow. You need to network and you need to grow. The charcoal business is not enter and blow. No way. You need to learn the ropes. Join export forums. Visit charcoal hubs in places like Oyo, Nasarawa, Kogi, and even Ogun State. build relationships with local producers, and study what foreign buyers want. And yes, think beyond just lump charcoal. There's briquette charcoal, eco-friendly, compressed charcoal made from agricultural waste, and that's the future. It's cleaner, greener, and already catching fire somewhere far off Africa. If you get small capital and you no load, this business they pay you. You fit load one truck and make better money. But customers and forest wahala, if it spoil your market, so yes, there are risks. The government can clamp down on deforestation. Poor quality charcoal can ruin your reputation, especially with international buyers. Export delays, custom seizure, they are all real. But with knowledge, structure, and strategy, you can turn charcoal into gold. So here is your takeaways. Charcoal is not just for the poor man's stove. It's for the smart man's pocket. It's a hustle, a venture, a serious export commodity. And whether you start small or go global, it is very much a cash craft. Remember, this isn't professional investment advice. It's a spark, a mental wake-up call that opportunity is often found where people don't bother to look. Until next time, I am Grace Komolafe, and today, what did I do? I have actually helped you to turn smoke into substance on Cashcraft.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us on the program. Charcoal is used industrially as a fuel, reducing agent in various processes and raw material in diverse industries. It finds application in metallurgy, chemical production, energy generation, and even as a filler in some materials. In metallurgy, it serves as fuel. Charcoal is crucial for fuel source for iron and steel production. Now, what comes to mind? The Ajaokuta steel, acting as a reducing agent to extract metals from their ores. It also used in foundries and forges. Industrial boilers and drying equipment, also have use of charcoal. It says charcoals can be used as fuel in various industrial processes, including boilers and drying equipment for thermal power generation. Charcoal can generate thermal energy in power plants, contributing to electricity and heat productions. There are other alternative uses of charcoal as well.
It's a whole lot.
It's a whole lot. But you know what? We have a report for you, still on charcoal. Do stay with us.
When Emeke talks about black gold, he isn't referring to oil. He buys it in sacks, not barrels. He sells it from a metal shack to customers in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital. Charcoal is big business in Africa. He says there's enough money in the charcoal trade to make the wealthy envious in several African countries. Charcoal has fueled Africa's urbanization. It is energy dense and difficult to regulate, much like the cities it powers. Despite concerns about pollution, deforestation, and illicit money flows, charcoal remains indispensable. In this special report, written by Bayo Olaoye, he explored the value of Africa's charcoal economy, estimated to be worth billions of dollars, and assesses its viability. Nearly 200 million Africans cook primarily with charcoal, including 27% of urban dwellers. That share has grown since 1960, replacing much of its previous reliance on firewood. If there's been an African energy transition, it has been from one type of wood fuel to another. Charcoal's appeal lies in its convenience. By weight, it contains nearly twice as much energy as the wood it's derived from, making it easier to transport and ideal for megacities with fragile infrastructure. In Kinshasa, A Congolese metropolis of 18 million people, almost everyone cooks with it. Never before have cities grown so large while relying so heavily on wood-based fuel. In rural Africa, tens of millions of people make charcoal using earth kilns, outnumbering the world's coal miners. The process involves heating wood under low oxygen conditions to remove moisture and volatile gases. Logs and branches are stacked in a pile, covered with grass and soil, and burned for several days. This yields 1 to 2 tons of charcoal from 10 tons of dry wood. The process emits more carbon than simply burning the wood. Much of the raw wood is free, harvested from farmers' own land or from forests. Many charcoal producers are farmers selling to traders when in need of cash. Others are entrepreneurs who bring in work teams, distribute chainsaws, and pay off landowners or local chiefs. Locals often complain about outsiders cutting down their trees. In Kenya and Uganda, vigilantes have even attacked charcoal trucks. Africa's charcoal trade is estimated to be worth tens of billions of dollars, possibly more than the continent earns from cocoa or coffee. The money trail often leads to soldiers or government officials. The United Nations Security Council banned charcoal exports from Somalia because jihadists were earning millions by exporting it to the Gulf, where shisha smokers prize the aroma of acacia wood. Charcoal production leaves destruction in its wake. In Mozambique's Mabalane district, 2/3 of the woodland was affected by charcoal harvesting in the decade leading to 2018, according to one study. To mitigate the damage, governments oscillate between legalizing the trade through licensing and forest management and banning it outright. Sudden bans, however, often fuel a black market. Enforcement becomes a chaotic negotiation involving traders, officials, police, soldiers, and local communities. Lorry drivers move at night and pay bribes to checkpoints. In Uganda, where charcoal production is banned, it's smuggled across the border and transported under official seals from South Sudan. Other policies promote clean cooking. Liquid petroleum gas, LPG, which burns cleaner than charcoal, is exempted from VAT in Kenya. Some companies have introduced metered gas canisters so consumers can pay as they go, easing upfront costs. Today, more than half of urban Kenyans use LPG as their main cooking fuel. Bond Manufacturing, a company known for efficient stoves, has stopped selling its charcoal models and now promotes electric stoves subsidized by carbon credits. Experts say charcoal is on the decline in Kenya, though it remains prevalent in countries like Madagascar and Zambia, where alternatives are limited. Phasing out charcoal will have economic consequences. The trade is informal and decentralized, while gas is distributed through large firms and creates fewer jobs. Charcoal provides roughly 275 workdays per terajoule consumed, compared with 95 for electricity and 15 for LPG. Gas imports also strained foreign currency reserves. For now, most consumers juggle multiple energy sources. Charcoal production in Africa is still growing at about 2% annually. But one thing is clear: as long as there is the ghetto, there will always be charcoal. I'm Moyosore Adebi for Souq News TV.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us. That's a report about charcoal coming from Moyosore. Now let's move on. A conversation this morning, we'll be having another entrepreneur, and this time it's also in the part of food. Her name is Mary Oto'Uwa. She is a resilient serial entrepreneur, agri-business enthusiast, and founder of Omeb's Foods Limited, a Nigerian food processing company that is committed to producing 100% natural preservative-free products. Her product line includes pap in different variants, with the best-selling mixed giant grain flour, unripe plantain flour, bean flour, indigenous spices, and more. Mary has 10 years experience in food production, packaging, and brand building. She is passionate about food security, women's empowerment, and scaling African food systems for global relevance. Good morning to you. Many thanks for coming on Just Africa this morning, Mary Otaoa. You're welcome to the program.
Good morning, and thanks for having me. Good morning. I'm excited to share how our brand fits into the African homegrown revolution.
Okay, welcome to Just Africa. Now, let's start this conversation. I just briefly read your profile. Passionate, and you've been 10 years, if not more, in the line of business. Talk to us. How did you start?
Well, Africa was actually rising from, let's say, innovation or probably creativity. For mine, it was passion, and I saw a problem that needed to solve. Speaking of foods, I know I've been introduced as a serial entrepreneur who have other businesses, but I'm speaking in line with Omeps Foods Limited today. For Omeps Food, I found a challenge, and then I I believed I could give a solution to it, and so I started this Omeps Food Limited. Actually, started from my apartment kitchen. It started as initially it was more like just solve the little you could within the premises, within the environments. And then, to the glory of God, it's a global business today because we saw the need, and then there was availability for what we offer. So we started growing from, we went through all the challenges, and we are here today.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask you, how were you able to raise capital and funds? Did you source from loans from banks? Were they responsive? How was it like at the beginning?
Sorry, I didn't get it.
How were you able to raise capital for the business? Did you source for loan and banks? Were they responsive? Or did you source for it, outsource it from somewhere else?
Well, the challenge, the challenge of you one, all the personal savings, and then although along the way we were able to secure um, grants from LSTF, and then we were able to get, during the COVID-19 era, we were able to get funds from NISA Microfinance Bank, and then it came handy, and then it was a major push for Umev Foods.
All right, thank you very much. So, from the inception of your business till now, can you tell us on a monthly basis how much are you raking in as profit?
Well, I would rather, okay, business now, our food business, it's not fixed, but if we're going to say annually, we are gearing towards a 25 million naira revenue.
Correct? I had something like 25 million.
Mary, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
And hear you now.
Oh, great. Thank you for the update you gave to us about that aspect of your business. Now, I'm more interested in the variants of food. Whilst I was reading out your profile, you spoke, there's something about pop that I saw there. I'm referring to pop because I know that Nigeria is one of the world topmost producers of cassava. So the variant of pop that you extract, or the one that you are involved in, is it the one you get from cassava? Or could you talk to us about some of the variants of your products and how far you've been able to distribute them to Nigerians?
Okay, thank you. Well, our pap is not from cassava. our pap has nothing to do with cassava. We our paps are basically on grains. We do paps in different variants. We have the ones with those the yellow maize. We have the ones with combined grains like the millet, sorghum, maize, and we also have some we have customized pap we make for probably baby friendly pap that we make on demand. Then our bestseller pap is the mixed grain pap where we have combination of the yellow maize, the sorghum, millet, and ginger. And then we have this both in wet and in dried format. We also have our beans flour. Now the beans flour is to ease and help busy women save 70% of their cooking time. You know, the idea.
Oh, sorry, Mary. I really want to have this conversation with you because of the variety that the products, her product affords. And she talked about maybe this is not the first time. So cassava is not only source where we get pulp. She talked about maize,
yes.
grains. She talked about sorghum. I was going to ask the technology and the way she extract that and how competitive it has been because if our product has encountered other foreign products that were imported into the country and how the successes that our product has been able to achieve. Okay, you're welcome back, Mary. Could you please continue with your line of thought? You were talking about us about pop, and now you just moved to bean flour.
Okay, no, we don't have cassava pap. Our pap is strictly mixed grain. They are from derived our pap from grains. Can you hear me?
Very clearly, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, okay. Our pap are from grains. We are presently having cassava, and then we have our audience are those who are trying to run away. Now they are health conscious people who are trying to run away from preservative and additives. The first questions our customers throw at us is, "Hope e no get preservative." So we do all this, and then we have our market, have our audience ready waiting. We spread our product through retail stores, and then we're taking it even across the borders already.
Great. I like that part that you've been sending your products across the. But is there a competition? Now, I'm not talking about local competition that you have to face. I'm talking about foreign products that are being shipped into Nigeria. Have you encountered such competition? If you have, how is your product faring with this competition in the market?
A funny one is the ginger powder. That I wouldn't want to mention. I know of a brand. Okay, now that import. Imagine the foreign body comes to Kaduna in Nigeria, here, takes the raw ginger across, process it, and then bring it back here and sell to us. So these are some of the competitors we are. But then not without some of them not without preservatives and additives like the anti-caking agents and all that. All of those we don't have in our products. So the customers who are consuming our products, they know the difference already.
All right. Also, if I might ask, during your trying to register your product, did you encounter any hurdle from NAFDAC or the Standard Organization of Nigeria? Were there any hurdles encountered trying to get your product approved and registered?
Yes, yes. I had all the trouble because I started from my kitchen. So I it's very it's easy to know that NAFDAC would not come to my kitchen where I have little baby growing and all that, and they want to have that. So I had to move from my kitchen to my own facility, the Techno Innovation Center here, and then use facility. And then from there, we went through other trainings and all that, and then NAFTA came in, did some facilitation and all that, and then we went through for our validation, and our product got approved.
Okay, thank you very much, Mary. Now, for the want of time and the fact that you have your business is doing quite very well in the food industry, I would like to have an in-depth conversation with you right on this program, Just Africa. But this time we will be talking about the Nigerian food industry in quite a lengthy period of time. But at the moment now we are out of time, and our network has not been quite favorable. So we'll have our team reach out to you so we can have you again on the program. Thank you so much for your time this morning with us on Just Africa.
Thank you.
You're very much welcome. So, I like the fact that she spoke about other foreign organizations coming to Nigeria and taking some of our raw materials and getting it out there. It's something that she has seen, and as we move on, it's something that her business and other local businesses would like to overcome for us to have a smooth ride. Well, our time is up, and this is where we'll draw the curtain on Just Africa. My name is Oyin Priye Kromale. Good morning to you.
And I am Olumide Shokoya. Good morning.
When Emeke talks about black gold, he isn't referring to oil. He buys it in sacks, not barrels. He sells it from a metal shack to customers in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital. Charcoal is big business in Africa. He says there's enough money in the charcoal trade to make the wealthy envious in several African countries. Charcoal has fueled Africa's urbanization. It is energy dense and difficult to regulate, much like the cities it powers. Despite concerns about pollution, deforestation, and illicit money flows, charcoal remains indispensable. In this special report, written by Bayo Olaoye, he explored the value of Africa's charcoal economy, estimated to be worth billions of dollars, and assesses its viability. Nearly 200 million Africans cook primarily with charcoal, including 27% of urban dwellers. That share has grown since 1960, replacing much of its previous reliance on firewood. If there's been an African energy transition, it has been from one type of wood fuel to another. Charcoal's appeal lies in its convenience. By weight, it contains nearly twice as much energy as the wood it's derived from, making it easier to transport and ideal for megacities with fragile infrastructure. In Kinshasa, a Congolese metropolis of 18 million people, almost everyone cooks with it. Never before have cities grown so large while relying so heavily on wood-based fuel. In rural Africa, tens of millions of people make charcoal using earth kilns, outnumbering the world's coal miners. The process involves heating wood under low oxygen conditions to remove moisture and volatile gases. Logs and branches are stacked in a pile, covered with grass and soil, and burned for several days. This yields 1 to 2 tons of charcoal from 10 tons of dry wood. The process emits more carbon than simply burning the wood. Much of the raw wood is free, harvested from farmers' own land or from forests. Many charcoal producers are farmers selling to traders when in need of cash. Others are entrepreneurs who bring in work teams, distribute chainsaws, and pay off landowners or local chiefs. Locals often complain about outsiders cutting down their trees. In Kenya and Uganda, vigilantes have even attacked charcoal trucks. Africa's charcoal trade is estimated to be worth tens of billions of dollars, possibly more than the continent earns from cocoa or coffee. The money trail often leads to soldiers or government officials. The United Nations Security Council banned charcoal exports from Somalia because jihadists were earning millions by exporting it to the Gulf, where shisha smokers prize the aroma of acacia wood. Charcoal production leaves destruction in its wake. In Mozambique's Mabalane district, 2/3 of the woodland was affected by charcoal harvesting in the decade leading to 2018, according to one study. To mitigate the damage, governments oscillate between legalizing the trade through licensing and forest management and banning it outright. Sudden bans, however, often fuel a black market. Enforcement becomes a chaotic negotiation involving traders, officials, police, soldiers, and local communities. Lorry drivers move at night and pay bribes to checkpoints. In Uganda, where charcoal production is banned, it's smuggled across the border and transported under official seals from South Sudan. Other policies promote clean cooking. Liquid petroleum gas, LPG, which burns cleaner than charcoal, is exempted from VAT in Kenya. Some companies have introduced metered gas canisters so consumers can pay as they go, easing upfront costs. Today, more than half of urban Kenyans use LPG as their main cooking fuel. Bond Manufacturing, a company known for efficient stoves, has stopped selling its charcoal models and now promotes electric stoves subsidized by carbon credits. Experts say charcoal is on the decline in Kenya, though it remains prevalent in countries like Madagascar and Zambia, where alternatives are limited. Phasing out charcoal will have economic consequences. The trade is informal and decentralized, while gas is distributed through large firms and creates fewer jobs. Charcoal provides roughly 275 workdays per terajoule consumed, compared with 95 for electricity and 15 for LPG. Gas imports also strained foreign currency reserves. For now, most consumers juggle multiple energy sources. Charcoal production in Africa is still growing at about 2% annually. But one thing is clear: as long as there is the ghetto, there will always be charcoal. I'm Moyosore Adebi for Souq News TV. When we talk about South Sudan, Africa's youngest nation, having gained independence in 2011, we often focus on its political journey or natural resources. But there's something else that holds deep generational value in South Sudanese lives, which is cows. In South Sudan, cows aren't just animals, they are everything. They are currency, they are status, they are identity. Among groups like the Dinka and Nuer, a man's wealth isn't measured in cash, it's counted in cows. Cows pay dowries, settle disputes, mark the birth of a child, and even the death of an elder. Boys grow up in cattle camps, learning not just to herd, but to lead. Songs are written about prized bulls. People name themselves after their cows. It's love, not ownership. And no, they don't eat them. Not casually. Cows are sacred. They are milked, admired, and even mourned. Only in rare ceremonies, funerals, farming, or great misfortune is a cow killed for food. To eat one is to part with a piece of your soul. I'm Moyosore Adebi for Just Africa, only on Souq News TV.
When conversations around figures, I mean money, flies around, serious-minded and business-conscious people will at every point open their eyes because business ideas and opportunities can come up even at a bar. But for us, we are bringing you business ideas to your doorstep. And today I am saying welcome to Cashcraft, where we share with you tips on making money. We dig into the ordinary things around us, things we pass by daily, never knowing they could be our next income stream. My name is Grace Komolafe, and today we are stepping into the world of charcoal. not the one you fan under your suya or barbecue, but the one that's quietly building millionaires, fueling export earnings, and heated up markets from Lagos to places like Nairobi. In the smoky corners of rural villages, behind the crackles of burning logs, lies a black treasure, charcoal. It may not glitter, but don't be fooled. Charcoal is hot business, literally and financially. Now, before you turn up your eyes thinking it's dirty work for tired farmers, I want you to pay a close attention, because this is business, not bush talk. Charcoal is made by carbonizing wood, burning it slowly in a low oxygen environment to remove moisture and volatile compounds, leaving behind a high carbon energy packed fuel. It's used in households, restaurants, bakeries, foundries, and exported in tons out of Africa to Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. Straight to the numbers, according to data from the International Trade Center, Nigeria exports over 400,000 tons of charcoal annually. That's millions of dollars flowing into an industry that, up until now, barely makes the headlines. Charcoal ranks among Nigeria's top 10 non-oil export commodities, and guess what? The market is growing, especially with the rise in demand for natural and organic heating fuel abroad. But how can you, yes you, tap into this business? So here are tips from top to bottom. Step 1, know your entry points. The charcoal business is wild. You can be a producer cutting and burning the wood, a distributor buying from villages and selling to cities, or a transporter, a retailer, or even go big as an exporter. If you want to go into production, you will need access to hardwood species like acacia, mahogany, or share. This burn longer and cleaner. And please, don't just cut trees anyhow. Get your wood legally and where possible. Support replanting. Illegal logging is the fastest way to lose your business before it. All right, let's go to step 2. Carbonize like a pro. Charcoal is made in kilns. While many still use traditional earth kilns, modern alternatives like the Casamance kilns or Adaman retort kilns produce better yields, reduce smoke, and are friendlier to the environment. A small investment in an improved kilns can double your output and your profit. Now, step 3, bag it right. Local sales, use 25 kg or 50 kg sacks. For export, your charcoal must be dry, dust-free, and neatly packaged. Now, exporters deal in 20-foot or 40-foot containers, each holding up to 25 tons. So let's go to step 4. Know your market. If you're selling locally, look for suya sellers, grill restaurants, and food vendors. In urban centers like Lagos, Abuja, or Port Harcourt, and in Nigeria, charcoal sells fast, especially during festive seasons. Now, exporters, on the other hand, deal with buyers in Germany, UK, Belgium, Israel, UAE, and more. You will need a registered business and export license from NEPC and reliable logistics partners. That's very important, isn't it? So let's move to 5. Learn network. Grow. You need to network and you need to grow. The charcoal business is not enter and blow. No way. You need to learn the ropes. Join export forums, visit charcoal hubs in places like Oyo, Nasarawa, Kogi, and even Ogun State. Build relationships with local producers and study what foreign buyers want. And yes, think beyond just lump charcoal. There's briquette charcoal, eco-friendly, compressed charcoal made from agricultural waste, and that's the future. It's cleaner, greener, and already catching fire somewhere far off Africa. If you get small capital and you no load, this business they pay you. You fit load one truck and make better money. But customers and forest wahala, if it spoil your market, oh, so yes, there are risks. The government can clamp down on deforestation. Poor quality charcoal can ruin your reputation, especially with international buyers. Export delays, custom seizure, they are all real. But with knowledge, structure, and strategy, you can turn charcoal into gold. So here is your takeaways. charcoal is not just for the poor man's stove. It's for the smart man's pocket. It's a hustle, a venture, a serious export commodity. And whether you start small or go global, it is very much a cash craft. Remember, this isn't professional investment advice. It's a spark, a mental wake-up call that opportunity is often found where people don't bother to look. Until next time, I am Grace Komolafe, and today, what did I do? I have actually helped you to turn smoke into substance on Cashcraft.
May 3rd,